The coffee maker gurgled its morning song while Marcus flipped pancakes on the griddle. Sunlight streamed through the kitchen window of his small Colorado cabin, catching the frost patterns that Ash had accidentally created on the glass during his nightmare last night. The boy had woken up screaming about ice and darkness, and Marcus had spent 2 hours calming him down, singing old country songs until the 7-year-old drifted back to sleep. Papa Marcus, Ember is burning my blanket again. Ash's voice carried from upstairs, high-pitched and annoyed. Marcus sighed, setting down the spatula. 3 months. 3 months since he had pulled 2 half-frozen dragon children from a blizzard that should have killed them. 3 months since his quiet mountain life had transformed into something he never imagined. Ember, we talked about this. Marcus called up the stairs. No fire before breakfast. A guilty silence followed, then small footsteps padding down the wooden stairs. Ember appeared first, her copper-red scales catching the morning light. She was still in her natural form, dragon features on full display, something Marcus had encouraged. His home was their safe space. No need to hide here. Sorry, Papa Marcus, she mumbled, golden eyes downcast. I was just trying to stay warm. Ash followed behind her, his ice-blue scales shimmering. Unlike his sister, he had mastered the ability to shift into a more human-looking form, though his eyes still betrayed his true nature with their vertical pupils and silver gleam. Marcus crouched down to their level, placing a gentle hand on Ember's shoulder. I know, sweetheart, but you almost set the house on fire twice last week. We need to work on control, remember? She nodded, then brightened when she saw the pancakes. Are those the ones with chocolate chips? Only the best for my little dragons. Marcus grinned, ruffling her hair. The gesture still amazed him. These were not human children. They were creatures from another world, beings that could breathe fire and ice, that would one day grow larger than his cabin. Yet here they were, excited about chocolate chip pancakes like any other kids. Breakfast was chaotic as always. Ember accidentally melted her fork. Ash froze his orange juice solid. Marcus found himself mediating an argument about whose turn it was to pick the bedtime story. Normal things. Beautifully, wonderfully normal things. After breakfast, Marcus set up their homeschool lessons in the living room. He had pulled Ember and Ash from any official school system. How would he explain children with scales? With the ability to shift temperatures with their emotions? Instead, he taught them himself. Reading, writing, basic math, and most importantly, control. Okay, focus exercise, Marcus announced, pulling out 2 candles. Ember, I want you to light just the wick. Not the whole candle, just the wick. Ember concentrated, her small face scrunching up. A tiny flame sprouted from her finger, and she carefully touched it to the wick. The candle lit perfectly. Excellent. You're getting so much better. Marcus praised, and Ember beamed with pride. My turn, Ash insisted. Marcus handed him a glass of water. Cool it down, but don't freeze it solid. Ash touched the glass, and frost spread across the surface. The water inside became slushy, partially frozen. Not perfect, but much better than last month when he had shattered 3 glasses from over-freezing. Good work, buddy. You're both improving every day. The doorbell rang, and all 3 of them froze. Visitors were rare. Marcus had chosen this cabin specifically for its isolation. His nearest neighbor, old Mrs. Patterson, lived half a mile down the road and rarely ventured out in winter. Upstairs. Now, Ember, human form, Marcus ordered quietly. The twins recognized his tone and obeyed immediately, scampering up the stairs. He waited until he heard their bedroom door close before approaching his front door. Through the peephole, he saw Mrs. Patterson bundled in a heavy coat, holding a covered dish. Marcus opened the door with a practiced smile. Mrs. Patterson, what a surprise. Marcus dear, I made too much pot roast and thought of you and those sweet children you adopted. Her kind eyes twinkled. How are they settling in? The cover story had been necessary. Marcus had told the few locals who asked that he had adopted 2 siblings from an overseas orphanage. The paperwork was fake, created by a forger he had known from his military days, but it held up to casual scrutiny. They're doing great, ma'am. Really great. Learning English fast. That part was true. The twins had picked up the language with startling speed. Such beautiful children, Mrs. Patterson continued. Those unique eyes they have. I've never seen anything quite like them. Marcus's heart rate spiked, but he kept his expression neutral. Yeah, unusual genetics. The adoption agency said it runs in their birth family. Well, bring them by sometime. I have some old books my grandchildren loved. Might enjoy them. She handed him the pot roast and waved goodbye, trudging back through the snow to her car. Marcus closed the door and leaned against it, exhaling slowly. Close. Too close. Every interaction with the outside world was a risk. Is she gone? Ash whispered from the top of the stairs. Yeah, buddy. Come on down. The twins descended, and Marcus noticed Ember was still maintaining her human form. Tan skin, normal brown eyes, though her hair still held that distinctive copper-red shade. You're getting better at holding the shift, Marcus observed. It's hard, Ember complained. Feels itchy. I know, but it keeps you safe. Marcus sat down on the couch, and both children immediately climbed up beside him, one on each side. This had become their routine. After any stress, they sought his presence like a security blanket. Papa, Marcus? Ash asked quietly. Will we always have to hide? The question stabbed Marcus in the chest. He had asked himself the same thing countless times. What was he doing? These children deserved to run free, to be themselves. Instead, they were trapped in this cabin, hiding from a world that would never understand them. I don't know, kiddo, Marcus answered honestly. He had learned that lying to them only broke their trust. But I promise you this, I'll keep you safe. No matter what. Ember schnaglet closer. We know. You always do. That afternoon, while the twins played in the backyard, Marcus had checked 3 times to ensure no one was watching. He stood at his kitchen window with a cup of coffee, watching them. Ember was trying to build a snow dragon, melting the snow precisely where she needed it to stick. Ash was creating ice sculptures, his natural gift shining through. They were happy. That was what mattered. But Marcus could not shake the growing unease that had been building in his gut for the past week. Small things. A black car that had driven past his cabin twice in 3 days. A feeling of being watched when he went into town for supplies. Paranoia, perhaps, born from the weight of his secret, or perhaps not. That night, after tucking the twins into bed, a process that involved 3 stories, 2 glasses of water, and countless reassurances, Marcus sat in his living room with his old military-issue pistol on the coffee table. Just in case, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Marcus stared at it, every instinct screaming danger. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Hello. Silence on the other end. Then a mechanical voice, clearly using a scrambler. You have something that doesn't belong to you. Marcus's blood ran cold. Who is this? Consider this a courtesy warning. Return what you took, or things will become unpleasant. I don't know what you're talking about. The children, human. The dragon whelps. They belong to someone very powerful. Someone who wants them back. Marcus's hand tightened on the phone. They're not property. They're kids. A low, distorted laugh. Admirable. Foolish, but admirable. You have 48 hours to reconsider. After that, I come collect them myself. And I won't be gentle. The line went dead. Marcus sat frozen, the phone still pressed to his ear. His worst fear confirmed. Someone knew. Someone was coming. He looked toward the stairs, where Ember and Ash slept peacefully, unaware of the danger closing in. Not on my watch, Marcus whispered to the empty room. He had saved them once from death. He would save them again from whatever hell was coming. He just had no idea yet how. Outside, in the darkness beyond his cabin, something moved through the trees. Something that watched. Something that waited. The hunt had begun, and Marcus had just become the prey. Dawn broke over the mountains with deceptive beauty. Marcus had not slept. He had spent the entire night sitting in his chair, pistol within reach, watching the front door like a soldier on guard duty. Old habits from Afghanistan had roared back to life. The hypervigilance, the constant threat assessment, the readiness for violence. But this time, he was not protecting a forward operating base. He was protecting 2 children who thought he hung the moon. Papa, Marcus. Ember's small voice startled him. She stood at the bottom of the stairs in her pajamas, clutching her stuffed bear. "Why are you still awake?" Marcus forced a smile, tucking the pistol into his waistband behind his back. "Just couldn't sleep, sweetheart. Too much coffee." She patted over and climbed into his lap, a gesture of trust that still overwhelmed him. "I had a good dream. We were flying. All three of us. You had wings like us." "That sounds like a wonderful dream. Will I be able to fly someday? Like Mama did?" Marcus stiffened. The twins rarely spoke about their mother. "You will, when you're older and your wings are stronger. Mama used to say I would be the best flyer in the sky," Ember whispered, her voice carrying a sadness too heavy for a 7-year-old. I'm sure she was right. Ash appeared next, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "Are we doing lessons today?" Marcus checked his watch. 6 in the morning. The threat had said 48 hours. That gave him until tomorrow morning. Not enough time to run. Not enough time to prepare properly. But enough time to make a choice. "How about we skip lessons today?" Marcus suggested, and both twins' eyes widened in shock. He never skipped lessons. "Let's go into town. Get some ice cream. Have fun." If these were his last normal hours with them, he wanted them to be good ones. The town of Pinewood Ridge was small, barely 3,000 people, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone. Marcus had deliberately kept his distance from the community, but today he threw caution to the wind. The twins deserved one carefree day. They walked down Main Street, Ember and Ash bundled in winter coats, both maintaining their human forms though Marcus could see the strain it caused them. The ice cream shop, surprisingly open despite the cold, became their first stop. 2 scoops of chocolate, Ember announced proudly. "Vanilla with sprinkles," Ash added, more reserved as always. Marcus paid and guided them to a corner booth, watching them enjoy their treats with the simple joy of children. Other customers glanced at them occasionally, the strange recluse and his unusual kids, but no one approached. Until someone did. The man entered the ice cream shop with the practiced casualness of a predator, trying to appear harmless. Tall, impossibly thin, with skin that had an odd greenish tint Marcus initially attributed to the lighting. But as the man got closer, Marcus realized the truth. Not human. The alien wore human clothes, jeans, a jacket, boots, but his movements were wrong. Too precise. Too calculated. His eyes, when they swept across the shop, were compound like an insect's, multifaceted and cold. Those eyes locked onto the twins that Marcus's hand instinctively moved to his concealed pistol. The alien noticed the movement and smiled, revealing teeth that were too sharp, too numerous. "Lovely children," the alien said, his voice carrying a slight clicking quality. "May I sit?" "Booth's taken," Marcus replied flatly. "I think not." The alien slid into the booth anyway, directly across from Marcus, effectively trapping them. Up close, his disguise was even more obvious. The skin was not skin, but some kind of chitinous plates arranged to mimic human features. "Papa, Marcus," Ash whispered, fear coloring his voice. "It's okay, buddy." Marcus kept his eyes on the alien. "What do you want?" "Straight to business. Efficient." "I appreciate that." The alien leaned back, studying the twins with disturbing intensity. "My name is Kravik. I'm what you might call a recovery specialist. I find lost property and return it to its rightful owners. These are children, not property. Semantics. Their father wants them back." Ember's ice cream dropped from her hand, splattering on the table. "Father?" Kravik's smile widened. "Oh yes, little one. Your father, Valdris, the most powerful dragon in 7 systems. He's been searching for you for 3 years." Ash grabbed Marcus's arm. "We don't want to go back. Papa Marcus saved us." "Did he?" Kravik tilted his head in a distinctly inhuman gesture. "Or did he steal you from your rightful family?" "Their mother abandoned them on a frozen planet to die," Marcus growled. "I found them and gave them a home. Tragic story. Irrelevant to my contract." Kravik pulled out a small device, some kind of alien technology that hummed and glowed. "My employer wants his offspring returned. Alive and unharmed, preferably, but those terms are flexible if you resist." The threat hung in the air like poison. "We're in a public place," Marcus said quietly. "You make a move, people will see. These primitives?" Kravik gestured dismissively at the other customers. I could kill everyone in this shop before they understood what was happening. Your species is so delightfully slow. Marcus's mind raced. He was outmatched, outgunned. An alien bounty hunter versus a retired soldier with a pistol and two terrified children. The math was not in his favor. But Marcus had never been good at accepting bad odds. Kids, when I say run, you run to the truck. Don't stop. Don't look back. Understand. But Papa Marcus, understand? Marcus repeated, his voice hard. Both twins nodded, tears streaming down Ember's face. Kravik laughed, a chittering sound. Oh, this will be entertaining. The human thinks he can fight me. How delightful. Run, Marcus shouted, shoving the twins out of the booth. They scrambled away, their small feet pounding on the floor. Other customers shouted in surprise, confused by the sudden commotion. Kravik moved to intercept the children, but Marcus was faster. He grabbed the alien's arm and yanked hard, using the creature's momentum against him. Kravik crashed into the table, alien curses hissing from his throat. Go, go, Marcus urged the twins, who had reached the door. Kravik recovered with inhuman speed, lashing out with a clawed hand that raked across Marcus's shoulder, tearing through his jacket and drawing blood. Pain exploded through Marcus's body, but he had felt worse. He drove his elbow into Kravik's face, feeling chitinous plates crack under the impact. The alien bounty hunter staggered back, green ichor leaking from his damaged face. You dare strike me? You threaten my kids. Marcus pulled his pistol and fired 3 rounds center mass. The bullet struck Kravik's chest and ricocheted off with metallic pings. Armored. Of course he was armored. Kravik's laughter filled the shop. Primitive kinetic weapons. How quaint. He lunged forward, moving faster than Marcus could track. One moment he was across the shop. The next, his hand was around Marcus's throat, lifting him off the ground with impossible strength. Marcus choked, legs kicking uselessly. His vision began to tunnel. This was it. He had failed. The twins would be taken. Then fire exploded through the shop. Ember stood in the doorway, tears streaming down her face, her human disguise burned away in her rage. Full dragon form, copper scales gleaming, she opened her mouth and unleashed a torrent of flame that would have made a blowtorch jealous. The fire washed over Kravik, and for the first time, the alien screamed. His grip on Marcus loosened, dropping him. Marcus hit the ground gasping, watching in shock as Ember's flames consumed the bounty hunter. Kravik stumbled backward, his clothes igniting, his chitinous armor cracking and melting. He shrieked something in an alien language and fled through the back door of the shop, trailing smoke and fire. The shop erupted in chaos. Customers screaming, someone yelling about calling the police. The smell of burned alien flesh and melted plastic. Marcus grabbed Ember, who was shaking violently, her small dragon body racked with sobs. I hurt someone. I hurt someone bad. You saved me, Marcus whispered, pulling her close. You saved us both. Ash appeared at his side, still in human form, but barely holding it together. We need to go. Now. He was right. Marcus scooped up Ember, carrying her despite her dragon form, making her heavier than a normal child. They rushed to his truck, Marcus's shoulder bleeding, Ember sobbing, Ash pale with fear. He drove like a man possessed, pushing the old truck to its limits on the mountain roads. In the rearview mirror, he could see smoke rising from the town. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Where are we going? Ash asked from the passenger seat. Somewhere safe. Marcus lied, because he had no idea where safe was anymore. The cabin was compromised. The town knew about Ember's powers. And Kravik, despite being burned, was likely still alive and very, very angry. They had maybe hours before the hunter recovered. Maybe less. In the back seat. Ember had finally stopped crying, curled into a ball, her scales still visible. I'm sorry, Papa Marcus. I'm so sorry. Don't be. You did what you had to do to protect our family. Family. The word slipped out naturally now. These were not just children he had rescued. They were his. And he would die before letting anyone take them. His phone buzzed. Marcus knew before looking who it was. Unknown number. The same mechanical voice. You should have listened to the warning, human. Now my employer is displeased. He's coming personally. And when Valdris arrives, your world burns. The line went dead. Marcus's hands tightened on the steering wheel. A crime lord powerful enough to have bounty hunters across the galaxy, coming personally for his children. They had no chance. But Marcus had not survived Afghanistan, 3 tours of duty, and countless firefights by giving up when the odds were bad. Papa, Marcus. Ash's small voice broke through his thoughts. Are we going to be okay? Marcus looked at the twins in his rearview mirror. 2 small children who trusted him completely, who called him Papa, who depended on him to keep them safe. Yeah, buddy, Marcus said, pushing down the terror in his gut. We're going to be okay. He just had to figure out how. Halfway across the galaxy, in the perpetual twilight of the Obsidian Reach, Valdris sat upon a throne carved from a single massive asteroid. The throne room stretched endlessly in all directions, walls adorned with the treasures of 1,000 plundered worlds. Gold coins spilled from overflowing chests. Weapons from extinct civilizations hung as trophies. Jewels the size of human heads glittered in the dim light. None of it mattered. Valdris had built an empire from blood and fire. He controlled the largest criminal network in 7 systems. Governments paid him tribute. Warlords sought his favor. Entire species whispered his name with fear, and none of it meant anything without his children. Lord Valdris, a small alien creature, scurried forward, barely reaching the massive dragon's clawed foot. Kravik has sent a report from his mission to retrieve the lost cargo on Sector 47B. I did not ask for updates on cargo, Valdris rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. Each word vibrated through the throne room. At 20 feet tall in his natural form, even relaxed, he was a force of nature. Yes, my lord, but Kravik mentioned something unusual. The cargo is not cargo at all. It appears to be 2 young dragons matching the description of. Valdris's head snapped toward the creature so fast the alien squeaked in terror. What did you say? Why young dragons, my lord? Kravik encountered them on a planet called Earth. He attempted recovery, but was injured by one of them. A female whelp who breathes fire. The throne room went deadly silent. Every servant, every guard, every pilot and mercenary in Valdris's employ felt the temperature drop as their master's rage built like a gathering storm. Show me, Valdris commanded, his voice dangerously quiet. The alien fumbled with a holographic device, projecting an image into the air. Grainy footage from Kravik's encounter. 2 children, one with copper red scales, one with ice blue, both small, both terrified, both unmistakably his. Valdris stood, his massive form unfolding like a mountain coming to life. His wings, each the size of a starship's sail, spread wide. His scales, black as the void between stars, absorbed the light around him. Ember, he whispered, recognizing his daughter instantly despite not having seen her since she was 4 years old. Ash, 3 years. 3 years since his mate, Seraph, had vanished with their children. He had searched everywhere, burned through fortunes and favors, interrogated thousands, destroyed anyone who might have information. Nothing. He had assumed them dead, had mourned in his own way, had built his empire even larger as if more power could fill the void they left. And here they were, on some backwater planet, alive. The human, Valdris said, his voice shaking with barely controlled fury. What do we know about him? The alien consulted his datapad nervously. Marcus Bennett, former military for the Earth nation-state called America. Lives alone in isolated mountain region. Unmarried. No family. Took possession of the young dragons approximately 3 months ago. Took possession, Valdris repeated slowly. Each word dripped with venom. This vermin stole my children. It appears so, my lord. Valdris's roar shook the throne room. Servants fled. Guards backed away. The very walls trembled under the force of his rage. Prepare my flagship, Valdris commanded. Assemble the fleet. We leave for Earth immediately. My lord, his chief advisor, a scarred veteran named Thorn, stepped forward cautiously. Earth is in Galactic Council protected space. If you enter their territory with a military fleet, you'll trigger a diplomatic incident. Perhaps even war. I don't care. Valdris turned his massive head toward Thorn, eyes burning like dying suns. Those are my children. My blood. Someone stole them from me. Let them die on a frozen world. And now a human claims them as his own. I will reduce that entire planet to ash if necessary. Lord Valdris. No. Valdris's tail lashed, destroying a priceless statue in the corner. My mate is dead. My children are all I have left. This human will learn what it means to take for Valdris. He closed his eyes, and for just a moment, the mighty crime lord allowed himself to remember Seraph. Beautiful, fierce Seraph. She had been everything he was not. Where he was ruthless, she was compassionate. Where he destroyed, she created. She had seen something in him worth loving, though the galaxy saw only a monster. Their children had been born during a rare moment of peace in his violent life. Ember with her mother's fire, Ash with his cold precision. Perfect, innocent, his. Then Seraph had taken them and vanished. No explanation, no would-be. He had torn apart star systems looking for them, but she had covered her tracks too well. Now he understood. She had tried to hide them from his life, from the violence and blood that followed him like a shadow. She had wanted them safe. Instead, she had gotten them killed. Or so he thought. How did they survive? Valdris asked, his voice quieter now. Kravik's report said they were found in a snowstorm. The alien consulted his files. The human apparently discovered them during an extreme weather event. According to surveillance footage recovered from nearby settlements, he provided shelter, food, and medical care. They have been living with him for 3 months. Valdris's mind struggled to process this information. A human, a random, insignificant human had saved his children when he, with all his resources and power, had failed to find them. The thought was both humbling and infuriating. What are his intentions? Valdris asked. Is he holding them for ransom? Does he know who they are? Unknown, my lord. Kravik attempted to negotiate, but the human refused to relinquish the children. He seemed to have formed an emotional attachment. Emotional attachment, Valdris repeated, and something in his chest twisted painfully. 3 months. His children had spent 3 months with this stranger. Had they forgotten him? Did they even remember their real father? Did they call the human father now? We intercept communications from the planet, another advisor reported. The young dragons refer to the human as Papa Marcus. The words hit Valdris like a physical blow. Papa. His children called another being Papa. The rage that flooded through him was primal, volcanic, unstoppable. This human had not only taken his children, but had stolen their affection. Had replaced him. How long to reach Earth? Valdris demanded. At maximum speed, 72 hours, my lord. Make it 48. I want every warship we have. Every mercenary on payroll. This human thinks he can steal from me? I will show him the true meaning of fear. The fleet assembled with terrifying efficiency. Valdris's flagship, the Void's Embrace, was a monster of a ship, 3 kilometers long, armed with weapons that could crack planets. Around it, dozens of smaller warships fell into formation. Mercenary fighters, Bordingkraft, enough firepower to level a continent. All for 2 small children and 1 human who dared to claim them. The fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace. Thorn approached Valdris one last time. My lord, please reconsider. The Galactic Council will respond to this. Earth is a developing world under protection. If you attack, I am not attacking Earth, Valdris corrected coldly. I am retrieving my property. What happens to anyone who stands in my way is their choice. And if the children don't want to leave? What if they've bonded with the human? The question stopped Valdris cold. He had not considered that possibility. His children, choosing a stranger over him, no. Impossible. They were young, confused. They had been traumatized and latched onto their rescuer. Once he explained who he was, once they remembered their true heritage, they would understand. They had to. Prepare to jump, Valdris ordered. The Void's Embrace hummed with power as its engines charged. Around the galaxy, sensors detected the massive energy signature. Alarms began to sound in Galactic Council headquarters. Emergency meetings convened. Fleets scrambled to respond, but none of it mattered. Nothing could stop Valdris now. Far away on Earth, Marcus had no idea that a fleet of warships was bearing down on his planet, that the most dangerous criminal in 7 systems was coming personally to take back what belonged to him, that in 48 hours his world would change forever. The Void's embrace jumped to hyperspace, tearing through the fabric of space itself. Inside, Valdris stood at the observation deck, staring at the streaking stars. "I'm coming, Ember. I'm coming, Ash," he whispered. "Papa is coming home." Behind him, Thorn watched his master with growing concern. He had served Valdris for 20 years, seen him order the deaths of millions, watched him burn entire civilizations for profit. But he had never seen Valdris like this. Vulnerable, desperate, human, almost at IT made him more dangerous than ever, because a father protecting his children would do anything, sacrifice anything, destroy anything. And Valdris was about to prove just how far a father's love could drive a monster. The countdown had begun. Earth had 48 hours left of peace, and Marcus Bennett had no idea that his quiet life was about to collide with the most powerful force in the criminal underworld. The galaxy held its breath. The storm was coming. Marcus drove for 3 hours straight before his hands stopped shaking. The adrenaline crash hit him hard, leaving him exhausted and aching. His shoulder throbbed where Kravik's claws had torn through flesh. Blood had soaked through his jacket. Though he had not mentioned it to the twins, they needed him strong, unbreakable, even when he was terrified. Finally, as sunset painted the mountains in shades of gold and crimson, Marcus pulled into an abandoned rest stop deep in a national forest. The building had been condemned years ago, windows boarded up, parking lot cracked and overgrown. "Perfect. We're stopping," Ash asked from the passenger seat. The boy had been silent for most of the drive, processing everything that had happened. "Just for a bit. Need to think." Marcus killed the engine and climbed out, wincing at the pain in his shoulder. Ember remained in the back seat, still in her dragon form, curled into a tight ball. She had not spoken since the ice cream shop. The guilt of hurting someone, even in self-defense, weighed heavily on her small shoulders. Marcus opened the back door and sat on the edge of the seat. "Hey, Firefly, talk to me." Ember's golden eyes met his, swimming with tears. "I burned him. I burned him so bad. You saved my life, but I hurt someone. Mama always said dragons should only use fire to protect, never to harm. I broke her rule." Marcus's heart ached. Even now, traumatized and afraid, Ember was worried about being good, about living up to her mother's teachings. "Your mama would be proud of you," Marcus said softly. "You protected your family. That's exactly what she meant. You're the bravest 7-year-old I've ever known." "Really? Really?" Marcus pulled her close, scales and all. She was warm, almost feverishly hot, her dragon nature making her run several degrees higher than a human child. "We're going to figure this out, okay? All 3 of us together." Ash climbed into the back seat to join them, and for a few moments, they just sat there, a makeshift family clinging to each other while the world fell apart around them. That Marcus's phone buzzed. He almost ignored it, but something made him check. Unknown number. But this time, not the mechanical voice from before. This was a text message containing only coordinates in a single line. "If you want to survive, come here. Come alone. You have 12 hours. Marcus stared at the message, suspicion warring with desperation. It could be a trap. Probably was a trap. But what choice did he have? "Kids, I need you to stay in the truck for a few minutes. Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone but me." "Where are you going?" Ash asked, fear creeping into his voice. "Just to make a phone call. I'll be right over there where you can see me." Marcus pointed to a spot 20 feet away, still in clear view of the truck. Reluctantly, the twins agreed. Marcus walked to the designated spot and dialed the only person he trusted who might have answers about alien threats. Colonel Sarachun answered on the 3rd ring. "Marcus? It's been 3 years. What the hell do you want?" "I need help, Sarah. The kind of help that might be above your clearance level." "Jesus, Marcus. You don't call, you don't write, and then you drop that on me? What kind of trouble are you in?" Marcus glanced at the twins, who watched him anxiously through the truck window. The kind involving non-human entities, government classifications I'm not supposed to know about, and two kids who need protection from a galactic crime lord. Silence on the other end. Then, are you drinking again? Stone sober. And I wish I was joking. Marcus, if this is some kind of PTSD episode, I was attacked today by an alien bounty hunter in Pinewood Ridge. Insectoid species, chitinous armor, spoke English. He was looking for two dragon children currently sitting in my truck. Their biological father is apparently someone named Valdris, and according to my latest threat assessment, he's coming to Earth personally with a fleet. More silence. Marcus could practically hear Sarah's brain working, running through protocols and possibilities. Where are you right now? Her voice had changed, no longer dismissive. Cold, professional, off the grid. Sarah, I need to know, does the government know about aliens? Are there protocols for this? I can neither confirm nor deny. Sarah, please. I've got two 7-year-olds who are terrified and a criminal armada potentially heading for Earth. I need to know if there's anyone who can help. A long pause. The coordinates you received. Send them to me. How did you send them? Now. Marcus forwarded the text message. On the other end, he heard typing, the click of a keyboard. That's a black site, Sarah said finally. Project Starwatch. They handle unusual situations. How unusual? The kind that officially don't exist. Marcus, if you go there, you're admitting knowledge of classified information. They might detain you, interrogate you, the twins too. And if I don't go, then you're on your own against whatever's coming. Marcus looked at Ember and Ash, two small children who trusted him completely, who had already been through so much. I'm going, he decided. Marcus, wait. There's something else you should know. 3 days ago, we detected a massive energy signature entering our solar system. Multiple ships. Configuration unknown. They're moving toward Earth at speeds we can't match. Marcus's blood ran cold. Valdris, if that's his name. The fleet will reach Earth's orbit in approximately 48 hours. We're scrambling every defense we have, but between you and me, we're not ready for this. Whatever you did, you pissed off someone with serious firepower. I saved his kids from freezing to death. Well, he doesn't seem grateful. Marcus ended the call and returned to the truck. The twins watched him with wide eyes, sensing his stress. Change of plans, Marcus announced, trying to sound confident. We're going to meet some people who might be able to help us. What kind of people? Ash asked suspiciously. The kind who deal with problems like alien bounty hunters and crime lords. The drive to the coordinates took another 2 hours. The location was deep in the Nevada desert, unmarked and unremarkable. Just miles of empty sand and scrub brush. Until Marcus crested a ridge and saw it at a facility built into the desert floor. Completely camouflaged from above, but at ground level, the entrance was obvious. Military vehicles, armed guards, technology that looked decades more advanced than anything publicly available. A checkpoint stopped them half a mile out. Soldiers in black uniforms, no insignia, weapons Marcus did not recognize. Marcus Bennett? The lead soldier asked, consulting a tablet. That's me. And the passengers? Marcus hesitated. Admitting the truth meant exposing the twins. But lying meant getting shot. Family, he said carefully. Under my protection. The soldier's expression never changed. Proceed to the main entrance. Park in Base 7. Someone will meet you. The facility interior was stark. White walls. Fluorescent lighting. The hum of machinery and air filtration systems. Scientists in lab coats hurried past, carrying equipment Marcus could not identify. Soldiers patrolled in pairs, alert and professional. Marcus held Ember's hand on one side, Ash's on the other. Both twins were in human form now, but their eyes betrayed their fear. Mr. Bennett. A woman approached, mid-50s, gray hair pulled into a tight bun. She wore a civilian suit, but carried herself with military precision. I'm Director Morrison. Project Starwatch. Thank you for coming. Did I have a choice? No, but I appreciate the illusion of cooperation. Morrison's gaze shifted to the twins, and something in her expression softened. These are the dragon whelps? Ash hissed softly, a defensive sound. Marcus squeezed his hand reassuringly. These are Ember and Ash. They're 7 years old, and they're under my protection. We're aware of the situation, Mr. Bennett. We've been monitoring communications from Valdris's fleet. He's made his intentions quite clear, which are retrieve his children by any means necessary. He's transmitted demands to every government on Earth. Return the twins, or he begins orbital bombardment. Ember vimperet. Ash's hand tightened on Marcus's. That's not happening, Marcus said flatly. Morrison studied him for a long moment. You're willing to risk a planetary war over two children you've known for 3 months? Yes. Why? Because they're mine. Morrison's eyebrow raised. Biologically impossible. I don't mean genetics. I mean my responsibility. My family. And I don't abandon family. Admirable. Stupid, but admirable. Morrison gestured for them to follow. Come with me. There's someone you need to meet. They descended deeper into the facility through corridors that required fingerprint scans and retinal checks. Finally, Morrison led them into a conference room where a holographic display showed Earth from orbit, and surrounding Earth, dozens of red dots. Valdris's fleet, Morrison explained. Each dot represents a warship, some as large as aircraft carriers. They entered our solar system 44 hours ago and have been decelerating ever since. Current estimates put their arrival at Earth orbit in 36 hours. What are our options? Marcus asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. Limited. Our space defense capabilities are optimistic. We have satellites, some experimental weapons, but nothing designed to fight a war in orbit. We could launch missiles, but they'd be intercepted long before reaching the targets. So we surrender. That's what the president is considering. No, Ember spoke up suddenly, her small voice echoing in the conference room. Papa Marcus saved us. We're not going back. Morrison looked at the girl with something approaching sympathy. Sweetheart, your father has enough firepower to destroy cities. We can't protect you from that. He's not our father, Ash said coldly. Not anymore. He abandoned us. He didn't know you were alive. He could have looked harder. Morrison sighed, rubbing her temples. Mr. Bennett, I understand your attachment to these children, but we're talking about the survival of potentially millions of people. If Valdris opens fire, then we negotiate, a new voice interrupted. Everyone turned as a man entered the conference room. Tall, distinguished, wearing what looked like a military uniform from no nation Marcus recognized. Admiral Kutcher. Morrison greeted with obvious respect. We weren't expecting you. Change of plans. I've been monitoring the situation. Kutcher looked at Marcus, then at the twins. 3 months ago, you saved these children from a blizzard? Yes, sir. Why? Because they were dying. You didn't know they were dragons? Didn't know their father was a galactic crime lord. I knew they were children who needed help. That's all that mattered. Kutcher smiled, a genuine expression that transformed his stern face. Good answer. Director Morrison, I'm taking command of this situation. Mr. Bennett and the twins are under my direct protection. Admiral, the White House, can kiss my ass. I've got clearance that makes the president look like a mall cop. Kutcher pulled up a chair, gesturing for Marcus and the twins to sit. Here's what's going to happen. Valdris arrives in 36 hours. He'll demand we surrender the twins. We'll refuse. He'll threaten violence. We'll negotiate. Negotiate what? Marcus asked. He wants them back, and you want to keep them. Valdris wants his children. You've been caring for his children. See where I'm going with this? Marcus did not see, but Ash did. The boy's eyes widened. You want both of us. Bingo. Smart kid. Kutcher leaned forward. Valdris is a father who thought his children were dead. Now he knows they're alive. He's not going to just give up. But maybe, just maybe, he could be convinced to share custody with the man he thinks kidnapped them. Morrison asked skeptically. It's crazy enough to work. Marcus's mind reeled. You want me to co-parent with a galactic crime lord, unless you have a better idea? He did not. None of them did. I need to talk to the twins alone. Marcus said. Kutcher nodded. Conference room is yours. The adults filed out, leaving Marcus alone with Ember and Ash. Both children looked at him with trust so absolute it broke his heart. What do you want to do? Marcus asked them. Stay with you, Ember said immediately. even if it means meeting your biological father." Both twins fell silent. Finally, Ash spoke. "Will you be there? Every second." Then okay. Marcus pulled them both into a hug. These two impossible, wonderful, terrifying children who had changed his life completely. "Whatever happens," he promised, "we face it together." Outside, in the cold depths of space, Valdris's fleet drew closer. The dragon crime lord stood at the bridge of his flagship, eyes fixed on the blue marble growing larger in his view screen. Soon, he would have his children back. He just had no idea that they might not want to be saved. The silence in the sky above Earth shattered exactly 36 hours after Valdris entered the solar system. Every telescope pointed skyward captured the same impossible sight. Ships, dozens of them, emerging from the darkness between stars like sharks rising from deep water. The flagship alone eclipsed the moon, 3 kilometers of dark metal and glowing energy cores that pulsed like a dying star's heartbeat. Global panic erupted immediately. News networks scrambled to explain what everyone could see with their naked eyes. Religious leaders declared the end times. Scientists frantically calculated trajectories and potential impact zones. Governments activated emergency protocols that had never been meant for actual use. And in a small town in Colorado, 3,000 residents looked up at the sky and understood why their strange neighbor had kept those unusual children hidden. Marcus watched the broadcast from the secure facility in Nevada. Every screen showed the same thing. Valdris's fleet, holding position in Earth's orbit like a sword hanging over humanity's neck. "They're beautiful," Ash whispered, staring at the dragon warships. Despite everything, there was wonder in his voice. "Our people built those. Your people are terrifying," Marcus corrected gently. Admiral Kutcher entered the command center, his expression grim. "He's hailing us. Audio only. Put him through," Director Morrison ordered. The speakers crackled with static, then a voice filled the room. Deep, ancient, powerful enough to make the walls vibrate. "People of Earth, my name is Valdris. I come for what is mine. 3 months ago, 2 young dragons crash-landed on your world. They are my children. I demand their immediate return." Around the room, scientists and military personnel exchanged nervous glances. This was real. First contact with an alien species, and it was a criminal overlord making demands. "If my children are not returned within 12 hours, I will begin demonstrating my fleet's capabilities. Every hour after that deadline, I will destroy one of your cities. I will continue until my children are returned or your civilization is ash." The transmission ended. Silence filled the command center. Then chaos erupted. People shouting suggestions, arguing strategies, panic spreading like wildfire. "Quiet." Kutcher's voice cut through the noise. "We're not surrendering, and we're not letting him destroy cities." He looked at Marcus. "You ready for this?" Marcus glanced at the twins. Ember had shifted back to her dragon form, scales shimmering with anxiety. Ash maintained his human appearance, but his hands were balled into fists. "No," Marcus admitted, "but let's do it anyway." The plan was insane. Suicidal, probably, but it was all they had. Marcus, the twins, and a small security detail would be transported to Pinewood Ridge, the town where everything had started. Valdris would be invited to land there, to meet his children face to face. No weapons, no tricks, just a father, his children, and the human who had saved them. "He'll kill you," Morrison warned Marcus as they prepared for transport. "The moment he sees you, he'll end you. Maybe, but maybe he'll listen first." "Why would he?" "Because I have what he wants. And because I'm betting he loves his kids more than he hates me." The flight to Colorado took 4 hours. Military helicopters escorted them, but Kutcher had ordered them to maintain distance. Any show of aggression might trigger Valdris's fleet. Pinewood Ridge was evacuated. 3,000 residents had fled to neighboring towns, leaving behind a ghost community of empty homes and abandoned cars. The ice cream shop where Ember had fought Kravik stood dark and silent, scorch marks still visible on the walls. Marcus stood in the town square with Ember on his left, Ash on his right. The twins had both shifted to their natural forms, scales gleaming in the afternoon sun. "He's coming," Ash said, pointing skyward. A single ship descended from Valdris's fleet. Smaller than the flagship, but still massive, it dominated the sky above the small town. The ground shook as it landed in the town square, crushing park benches and flower beds under its weight. A ramp extended from the ship's belly. Steam hissed, metal groaned, and Valdris emerged. Marcus had tried to prepare himself, had studied what little information Project Starwatch had on dragon physiology, had mentally braced for something large and dangerous. Nothing could have prepared him for the reality. Valdris was a mountain given life. 20 feet tall, his black scales absorbed light like a void, making him appear as a shifting shadow against the sky. Wings folded against his back, each large enough to flatten a building. Claws the size of swords, eyes that burned with cold fire. And in those eyes, Marcus saw something he recognized. Something that transcended species and biology to a father's desperate love. The massive dragon's gaze swept across the square, dismissing the humans, the soldiers, the town itself. Searching for only one thing. His eyes found the twins. Valdris froze. For a moment, the galaxy's most feared crime lord stood absolutely still, as if movement might shatter the dream. Then, a sound emerged from his throat. Not a roar, not a growl, that a sob. Ember, Valdris breathed, his voice shaking. Ash. Ember took an involuntary step forward. Papa. The word hit Valdris like a physical blow. Marcus saw the dragon's legs tremble, saw 3 years of grief and guilt and desperate searching crystallize into this single moment. Yes, little flame. Papa is here. Ash remained rooted to Marcus's side, but his eyes were wide with conflicting emotions. Fear, confusion, and underneath it all, a desperate yearning for the father he barely remembered. Valdris took a step forward, and every soldier in the area tensed. Weapons they knew were useless raised anyway, pure instinct against overwhelming threat. Stop, Marcus said quietly. The dragon's gaze finally settled on him. If Valdris's eyes had been cold fire before, they were supernovas now. Pure rage, focused entirely on the human who had his children. You, Valdris snarled. You are the one who stole them. I'm the one who saved them. Saved? Valdris's roar shook buildings. Windows cracked. Car alarms screamed to life. You kidnapped my children. Kept them from me. They were dying. Marcus shouted back, surprising himself with his boldness. Stupid to yell at a creature that could vaporize him with a thought, but he was beyond fear now. Your mate left them on a frozen planet. I found them half dead in a blizzard. I gave him shelter, food, warmth. I gave him a home. A home. Valdris laughed, a bitter sound. You gave them a cabin in the woods. I can give them worlds. Galaxies. Can you give them bedtime stories? Can you teach them to read? Can you wake up in the middle of the night when they have nightmares and hold them until they feel safe again? Valdris fell silent, thrown by the questions. Marcus pressed on. I don't have your power. I don't have your wealth. I'm just a human with a small cabin and a truck that barely runs. But I love them. I would die for them. I have died for them. Every day for 3 months, putting their needs above everything else. Love, Valdris repeated, testing the word. You speak of love to me. I'm her father. Their blood. Their Papa. Marcus reads us stories every night, Ember interrupted softly. Both adults stopped, looking at her. He makes pancakes on Sunday. He taught me to control my fire. He calls me his firefly. And he taught me chess. Ash added, his voice stronger than before. He never gets mad when I freeze things by accident. He helps me with my nightmares. He said we're family. Valdris's expression crumbled. But I am your father. We know, Ash said. But we don't remember you. The truth of those words devastated the mighty dragon. His legs buckled, and he sank to the ground, wings drooping. 3 years. I searched for 3 years. We know that too now, Ember said, walking forward slowly. Marcus wanted to stop her, to keep her safe, but this moment was not his. Papa. Marcus told us. You didn't know we were alive. If I had known, Valdris's voice broke. If I had known, I would have torn the galaxy apart to find you. Why did Mama leave? Ash asked the question that had haunted them for months. Why did she take us away from you? Valdris closed his eyes, and when he spoke, the great crime lord sounded ancient and tired. Because I am a monster. Your mother saw what I was becoming, saw the violence and blood that followed me. She wanted you safe from my world, from my enemies, from me. She failed, Ash said bluntly. We almost died anyway. But we didn't, Ember added, because Papa Marcus found us. Valdris's gaze shifted back to Marcus, but the rage was gone now, replaced by something more complex. Resentment, yes, but also a grudging recognition. You saved my children. Yes. They call you Papa. Yes. They love you. Marcus looked at the twins, saw them watching him with absolute trust. And I love them. Valdris was quiet for a long moment. Then, I came here prepared to reduce this world to ash, to take my children back by force, to make you suffer for taking what was mine. Are you going to? The dragon's laugh was hollow. What would that accomplish? They barely remember me. They fear me. If I take them now, they will never forgive me. They will never love me. So what do you want to do? Marcus asked carefully. Valdris looked at his children, really looked at them, saw how they stood close to Marcus, saw how Ember's small hand had found the humans, saw how Ash positioned himself protectively between Marcus and potential danger. His children had found father. Just not him. I want. Valdris struggled with words he rarely used. I want them to know me, to remember me, to understand that I never abandoned them by choice. That's fair. But I also see. The dragon's voice became quieter. I see that they have built a life here. With you. That they are happy. Marcus nodded slowly. They are. And you would fight me to keep them? Fight a hopeless battle against impossible odds. Without hesitation. Stupid human. Brave. But stupid. Valdris spread his massive wings. A gesture that might have been threatening, but somehow was not. I could take them. Right now. Load them on my ship and leave. You could. They would hate me for it. Probably. So we have a problem. I am her father. You are there, what? Guardian? Papa. Ember said firmly. Valdris flinched. Two fathers. One biological. One chosen. Seems that way. Marcus agreed. The dragon crime lord, the terror of 7 systems, looked between his children and the human who had saved them. His mind, so used to solving problems with violence and force, struggled with this new equation. There is a solution, Ash said quietly. If you both stop being stubborn. What solution? Valdris asked. Both of you. Both are papas. Ash looked at Marcus, then at Valdris. Papa Marcus taught me that family doesn't have to be blood. It's who loves you, who takes care of you. You want me to share you? Valdris sounded horrified. We want you both, Ember said simply. Is that so impossible? Marcus and Valdris looked at each other. A human soldier who made pancakes and read bedtime stories. A dragon crime lord who commanded fleets and controlled star systems. This is insane, Valdris muttered. Completely, Marcus agreed. My associates will think I've gone soft. Mine will think I've lost my mind. I would need to visit regularly. You be welcome. I would want them to know their heritage, their culture. They should know where they come from. Valdris lowered his massive head, bringing his eyes level with Marcus. If you ever harm them, if you ever fail to protect them, if you ever give me reason to doubt your care, you'll reduce me to ash. I get it. No. Valdris's voice softened. I will be disappointed. And for me, that is far worse than anger. Marcus smiled despite himself. I can work with that. Ember and Ash looked between their two fathers, hope dawning on their small faces. So we're really doing this? Ember asked. Both of you. Valdris sighed, a sound like wind through caves. It appears so little flame, though the galaxy will never believe it. Who cares what the galaxy thinks? Marcus said. What matters is them. Agreed. They stood in the town square as the sun began to set. A dragon crime lord, a human soldier, and 2 children who had somehow brought them together. One condition, Valdris announced. The human comes with us. Both of you. To my ship. Marcus tensed. Why? Because I want to talk. Properly. Without soldiers and weapons. Just us and the children. If we are to be. Valdris struggled with the concept. Co-parents. Then we need to establish rules. It was probably a trap. Possibly a death sentence. But Marcus looked at the twins, saw them nodding encouragingly, and made his choice. Okay. They walked together toward Valdris's ship. Marcus noticed soldiers tracking them with weapons, Admiral Kutcher shouting orders into a radio. But none of it mattered. Inside the ship, the interior was surprisingly comfortable. Not the sterile military vessel Marcus expected, but something almost homelike. Cushions, art, warm lighting. Valdris settled into a space clearly designed for his massive form. Before my mate took the children, this ship was our home. I kept it unchanged, hoping. That's... Marcus searched for words. Really sad, actually. I'm aware. They talked for hours. About the twins' care. About education and safety. About how to split time between Earth and space. About what the children needed to thrive. That IT was the most surreal conversation of Marcus's life. Negotiating custody arrangements with an alien crime lord over coffee, which Valdris found disgusting but drank anyway. They need stability, Marcus insisted. A routine. They need to know their people, Valdris countered. Their heritage. 6 months each. Marcus suggested. 6 months on Earth. 6 months with you. Unacceptable. I missed 3 years. I want weekly visits. Weekly? You're going to fly across the galaxy every week. I have a fleet. It's not difficult. They compromised. The twins would live primarily on Earth with Marcus. Valdris would visit monthly. Extended stays in space during school breaks. Video calls twice weekly. I am trusting you, Valdris said finally, with the most precious things in my universe. I know. I won't let you down. You better not. I like this planet. Would hate to destroy it. Was that a joke? Perhaps. Human humor is confusing. Outside, as Valdris's ship prepared to depart, the Dragon Lord knelt before his children one last time. I will return in 1 month, he promised, and I will call every week. Is that acceptable? Yes, Papa Valdris, Ember said shyly. The dragon's eyes glistened. Papa Valdris. I like that. He looked at Marcus. Take care of them. With my life. Valdris's fleet departed an hour later. Earth's governments breathed a collective sigh of relief. Crisis averted. Alien invasion prevented. In 01, except those present would ever know the truth. That the galaxy's most dangerous criminal and a retired soldier had agreed to the most unusual co-parenting arrangement in history. Marcus drove the twins back to their cabin as dawn broke. They were exhausted, emotional but happy. 2 papas, Ash said wonderingly. That's pretty cool. Pretty weird, Marcus corrected. Weird is our normal, Ember pointed out. She had a point. As they pulled up to the cabin, Marcus realized his quiet life was never coming back. He had a dragon crime lord on speed dial now. Monthly visits from a fleet that terrified nations. Children who could breathe fire and ice. But looking at Ember and Ash, seeing them happy and safe and loved, Marcus could not bring himself to regret any of it. Home, he announced. Home, the twins echoed. And for the first time in 3 months, Marcus believed it would last. The first month was awkward. Marcus had faced combat in Afghanistan, survived firefights and explosions, navigated the chaos of military life. None of it compared to coordinating schedules with an alien crime lord who measured time in different planetary rotations and had no concept of human bedtimes. It's 2 in the morning. Marcus groaned into his phone, watching Valdris's massive holographic face flicker in his living room. The dragon had insisted on installing a communication device for the children, which apparently meant he could call anytime. Apologies. Galactic Standard Time is difficult to convert. Valdris peered through the hologram. Are they sleeping? It's 2 in the morning. Of course they're sleeping. I wanted to tell Ember about the Fire Festival. It's an important cultural tradition. Tell her tomorrow. At a reasonable hour. Like noon. What is noon? Marcus rubbed his eyes. We need to establish some ground rules here. They did. Over the next few weeks, Marcus and Valdris developed a working relationship that surprised them both. Video calls happened 3 times a week at mutually agreed times. Valdris learned about human routines. Marcus learned about dragon customs, that IT was functional, professional, almost friendly. The twins thrived, that Ember's control over her fire improved dramatically. Valdris sent her ancient training techniques passed down through dragon generations. while Marcus helped her apply them practically. No more melted silverware. Well, less melted silverware. Ash discovered he could create intricate ice sculptures with stunning detail. Marcus encouraged his artistic side. Valdris taught him the mathematics and precision behind dragon ice manipulation. You're spoiling them, Marcus accused during one call after learning Valdris had sent the twins a chest of alien artifacts worth more than Marcus's cabin. They're my children. Of course I'm spoiling them. They need to understand the value of money and hard work. They're dragon royalty. They will never need to work. Everyone needs to work. It builds character. Humans have such peculiar philosophies. But despite the arguments, Valdris never overrode Marcus's authority. When Marcus said no dessert before dinner, Valdris backed him up, even when Ember tried to play them against each other. When Marcus implemented homework time, Valdris added supplementary dragon literature. They were learning to be partners. The first in-person visit happened exactly 1 month after Valdris's departure. Marcus watched from his cabin porch as the massive ship descended into the clearing he had begrudgingly cleared of trees. The dragon had promised to be discreet, which apparently meant not landing in the middle of town. Ember and Ash vibrated with excitement, practically bouncing. Remember, Marcus warned gently. He's your father, but that doesn't mean you have to go with him if you're not comfortable. We know, Papa Marcus, Ember said, rolling her eyes with the exasperation only a 7-year-old could muster. You told us like 10 times. The ship's ramp extended, and Valdris emerged in a smaller form than before. Still 15 feet tall, still massive, but clearly trying to be less intimidating. Papa Valdris. Both twins ran toward him without hesitation. Marcus's chest tightened, watching the reunion. Valdris crouched low, spreading his wings to gather both children close. For all his fearsome reputation, in that moment he was simply a father holding his kids. I missed you, Valdris rumbled, his voice thick with emotion. We missed you too, Ember said. Papa Marcus let us stay up late last night because we were too excited to sleep. Valdris's eyes found Marcus over the twins' heads. Did he? Special occasion, Marcus said, walking down the porch steps. Don't expect it to become a habit. Understood. Valdris set the twins down gently. I brought gifts. Marcus sighed. Of course you did. The gifts were extravagant. Ancient dragon texts bound in precious metals. Toys from a dozen different worlds. Clothes made from fabrics that shimmered like starlight. Marcus made a mental note to have another conversation about spoiling. But watching Ember and Ash's joy, he kept his mouth shut. They deserve this. Deserve to feel special and loved. Valdris stayed for 3 days. The arrangement was strange. The galaxy's most feared crime lord sleeping in Marcus's guest bedroom, after Marcus reinforced the floor, eating human food, which he pretended to tolerate, and following house rules. No fire in the house. Marcus shouted when Ember and Valdris started a demonstration. But Papa Marcus, house rules apply to everyone, including galactic crime lords. Valdris looked genuinely offended. I'm not subject to house rules. You are my house. They stared at each other. Then Valdris sighed, extinguishing the flame in his palm. Your house. Your rules. Embergiguth. Papa Marcus made Papa Valdris follow rules. The domestic absurdity was not lost on Marcus. He was giving orders to a dragon who commanded fleets. And Valdris was listening down on the second night. After the twins were asleep, Marcus and Valdris sat on the porch sharing whiskey, which Valdris actually enjoyed. The night was clear, stars brilliant overhead. Thank you, Valdris said quietly. For what? For loving them when I couldn't. For keeping them safe. For the dragon struggled with vulnerability. For not making me fight you for them. Marcus took a sip of whiskey. You would have won. Perhaps. But victory would have meant losing them forever. Valdris studied the stars. My mate, Seraph, she always said I valued power over people. That I measured worth in control rather than connection. Was she right? Yes. She tried to change me. I was too stubborn to listen. By the time I understood, she was gone. And she took our children because she believed they were safer without me. She was wrong about that. Was she? Look at what I am. A criminal. A destroyer. I have burned worlds for profit, killed thousands. My children should fear me. But they don't, Marcus pointed out. They love you. Because of you. Because you taught them to see beyond the monster. I didn't teach them anything. They saw it themselves. Kids are smart like that. Valdris was quiet for a long moment. I never apologized. For threatening your world. For the terror my arrival caused. You were desperate. That's not an excuse. No, but it's an explanation. And you chose negotiation over violence. That counts for something. Seraph would have been proud. She always believed in talking before fighting. Marcus raised his glass. To Seraph. For being wise enough to protect her kids, even if her methods were flawed. Valdris clinked his glass against Marcus's. To Seraph. They drank in companionable silence. Two fathers from different worlds bound by love for the same children. The morning Valdris left, both twins clung to him. Don't go, Ember pleaded. I must, little flame, but I will return. I promise. Next month. Next month. Ash, more reserved, simply hugged his father tight. I'm glad we found you. Both of you. Valdris looked at Marcus. Take care of them. Always. And Marcus? Thank you for sharing them with me. I know it's not easy. It's terrifying. But it's right. After Valdris's ship disappeared into the sky, Marcus found both twins unusually quiet. You okay? He asked. It's weird, Ember said. Missing two dads at the same time. Yeah, it is. But good weird, Ash added. We're lucky. Some kids don't even have one papa who loves them. We have two. Marcus pulled them both into a hug. And both of us would move mountains for you. Life settled into a new rhythm. Marcus handled daily routines, school, and the boring but necessary parts of raising children. Valdris provided cultural education, stories of their heritage, and the occasional wildly expensive gift that Marcus pretended to disapprove of. They argued sometimes. About discipline styles. About how much danger was acceptable for dragon children. About whether Ember was old enough for flight training. Valdris said yes. Marcus said absolutely not yet. But they learned to compromise. To respect each other's boundaries. To communicate. 3 months after their arrangement began, Marcus received a message from Admiral Kutcher. We've been monitoring Valdris's movements. He's made some significant changes to his organization. What kind of changes? He's pulled out of several illegal operations. Weapons trafficking, mostly. Redirected resources toward humanitarian efforts in contested space. It's subtle, but consistent. Marcus was surprised. Why? Our analysts think it's because of the twins. He's trying to build a legacy he won't be ashamed to explain to them. That night on their video call, Marcus mentioned it. Valdris looked uncomfortable. My children ask many questions about my work. I found myself editing the truth. That did not sit well with me. So you're going legitimate. Don't be absurd. I'm going less illegitimate. There's a difference. Valdris, that's actually really impressive. Do not tell anyone. My reputation would be ruined. Marcus laughed. Your secret's safe with me. Speaking of secrets, I have a question. It's been troubling me. Shoot, why did you keep them? That first day in the blizzard, you could have called authorities, left them at a hospital. Why take them home? Marcus thought back to that frozen night, to two small shapes barely alive in the snow. Because they needed someone. And I guess I needed them too. After leaving the military, my life was empty. Just me in a cabin and a lot of regrets. Then suddenly I had these two impossible kids who needed everything. And for the first time in years, I had a purpose. You saved them, Valdris said softly. But they saved you too. Yeah, they did. 6 months into their arrangement, Marcus got his first real test. Ember came down with something, a dragon illness that human doctors had no experience treating. Her temperature spiked to levels that would kill a human, and she couldn't control her flames. Marcus called Valdris in a panic. The dragon arrived within hours, his ship pushing limits that made his crew nervous. He brought his personal physician, a healer who specialized in young dragons. Together, Marcus and Valdris stayed at Ember's bedside for 3 days, taking turns keeping her cool, administering alien medicine, reading her favorite stories. That on the second night, exhausted and terrified, they worked side by side in grim silence. This is my fault, Valdris said suddenly. Dragon younglings need exposure to their home atmosphere, to their people. She's been on Earth too long. We'll fix it, Marcus insisted. She's strong. What if she's not strong enough? Then we'll make her strong enough. Together. Valdres looked at him, really looked at him. You truly love her as much as I do. She's my daughter. Yes, she is. Emberrikevert. The healer prescribed regular visits to Valdres's ship, where atmosphere processors could replicate dragon homeworld conditions. It meant more time away from Earth, but it was necessary. I don't mind, Ember said weakly from her bed. More time with both my papas. After Ember's recovery, something shifted between Marcus and Valdres. The professional courtesy became genuine friendship. They started calling each other just to talk, not just about the twins, but about their own lives. Valdres shared stories of his empire, the challenges of managing criminals who thought killing was the solution to every problem. Marcus talked about his struggles adjusting to civilian life after the military, the nightmares that still came sometimes. They were impossibly different. Yet somehow, they understood each other a year after their arrangement began. Marcus received an unexpected visitor, Mrs. Patterson from down the road, carrying her usual covered dish. Marcus, dear, I've been meaning to ask. Those children of yours, they're doing well. Very well, ma'am. Growing like weeds. And their other father? The tall gentleman I saw visiting. Marcus froze. You saw him. Hard to miss a ship that size, dear. I may be old, but I'm not blind. Marcus braced for accusations, fear, demands for explanations. Instead, Mrs. Patterson smiled. It's nice that they have two fathers who love them. Unconventional, certainly. But love is love, isn't it? Yes, ma'am. It is. Besides, those children are happier than any I've seen. That's what matters. After she left, Marcus called Valdres to share the story. The dragon laughed, genuine and warm. Humans continue to surprise me. I expected fear, hatred. Instead, acceptance. Not all of us are terrible. No, not all of you. As the twins' 8th birthday approached, Marcus and Valdres planned together. A party on Earth with human friends. A celebration on Valdres's flagship with dragon tradition, .2 families. 2 worlds. 1 love. The night before the birthday, both twins crawled into Marcus's bed for what had become their tradition, story time. Tell us about the blizzard, Ember requested, as she did every few weeks. Marcus smiled, pulling them close. Once upon a time, a very stupid human went driving in a snowstorm. He told them the story of their rescue, of how scared he had been, how small they had seemed, how he had not known what he was doing, but knew he had to try. And then Papa Valdres found us. Ash added, knowing the expanded version now. And then you all found each other, Marcus corrected, and became family. The best family, Ember declared. Marcus thought about the impossibility of it all. A retired soldier and a galactic crime lord co-parenting dragon twins. It should not work. By all logic and reason, it should be a disaster. But somehow, it was perfect. His phone buzzed. Valdres on the video call, right on schedule. Good evening, my little dragons. The massive face filled the screen. Papa Valdres. Both twins scrambled to grab the phone. Marcus watched them chat with their father, talking excitedly about the next day's party, about what they had learned, about the ice sculpture Ash was making .2 fathers. One human who had stumbled into fatherhood by accident. One dragon who had nearly lost his children forever. Together, they had built something impossible. Something beautiful that Marcus's quiet life was never coming back. He had intergalactic video calls to manage, monthly alien visits to prepare for, and 2 growing dragons to raise. And he would not change a single thing. Papa, Marcus. Ember called. Papa Valdres says dragons can fly at age 10. That's only 2 years. We'll discuss flight training later, Marcus said firmly, and heard Valdres's rumbling laugh through the phone. You're becoming quite good at saying no to them, the dragon observed. Had a good teacher. You've gotten pretty good at house rules yourself. Don't tell my associates. They think I've gone soft. Your secret's safe with me. That night, after the twins finally fell asleep, Marcus stood on his porch looking at the stars. Somewhere up there, Valdres's fleet patrolled. Somewhere in the galaxy, enemies and allies watched the impossible partnership between human and dragon. Let them watch, Marcus thought. Let them question and doubt. He had a family to protect. Two fathers, two children, bound by love stronger than biology or species or the vast emptiness between worlds. And that was all that mattered in the distance. A shooting star streaked across the sky. Marcus made a wish, the same one he made every night. Keep them safe. Keep them happy. Keep them together. The universe, in its own way, was listening, and the story of the human and the dragon and the children they loved was just beginning at the end.